Do you guys feel like if you're a quarterback, do you feel like you have to win the Super Bowl to be considered one of the greatest of all time?
No.
I believe you have to at least win one. I don't believe you have to win 7. I don't believe you have to win 3. I don't believe you have to win 5 or 10. I don't believe that. I believe you have to at least win one, because if the most important position on the field is your quarterback. If you're the best quarterback, if you are the best, you at least got to get your team there one time.
No,
I mean,
I don't think so, because there's a lot that plays into a team winning a Super Bowl. One, you have to get there, but 2, it starts with the front office in constructing a Super Bowl caliber roster. You could be the best quarterback in the history of ever, but if you're, on a team full of turds, well, you're not going anywhere. And it's just it kind of falls along the same line of being the GOAT, all because you've won 7 Super Bowl rings. I'm sorry, that's a team accomplishment. Super Bowl championships are team accomplishments, because if that was the case, you'd have guys like Dan Marino, who would never be discussed as one of the greatest of all times. And anybody who says that don't know ball, because Marino is one of the greatest of all times, and he didn't win crap.
See,
Now,
49ers people, Jerry Rice, would disagree with you on the documentary I watched.
I'm sure he would.
It was either Jerry Rice or Steve Young. When they were talking about Steve Young finally winning his Super Bowl, they said he needed to get that one. Now he can be considered one of the greatest.
Tracy says it the best right here. The best pitcher isn't winning anything without a great catcher.
Baseball's different, because it's not a one game.
No,
it's not. It's not a one game thing. If you're going in a one game, if every playoff series in baseball was a one game situation,
team accomplishment. You're asking about a team.
Yeah, it's a team accomplishment every championship, but NFL's a one game playoff. There ain't no series. So to me, the star player shows out more in the NFL, because if you're the best, if you want to be considered one of the best quarterbacks, one of the top 5 greatest, it's hard for me to say no, you are, without ever even winning one. I'm not saying you got to win 7 or 8, 5 or whatever. I think to be considered to be considered in a conversation to be the best ever. Not saying you aren't a great quarterback, to be in a conversation to be the best ever. I think you got to at least win one, because it'd be hard. It'd be hard. No, it ain't one. I don't throw a lot of quarterbacks out of the situation. I said win one. Don't have to win 7. Just win one, because it'd be hard for me. To say, yeah, that guy's the best, when this other guy has just as good as stats and actually won one.
Again, it's a team accomplishment.
So here's something interesting, that if we actually look at the list of people who've never won a Super Bowl, and of course I use Gemini here, Google Gemini, but basically just said greatest quarterbacks who never win a Super Bowl. I want to read off this list, and I want you to tell me how many of these guys that I read off that you would even consider as one of the greatest of all time. Because I can only name one. I want to see what you guys say. Okay. Dan Marino, Jim Kelly, Dan Fouts, Warren Moon, Fran Tarkington, Randall Cunningham, Donovan McNabb, Michael Vick, Steve McNair, Phillip Rivers, Ken Anderson, Matt Ryan, or Cam Newton.
Dan Marino's the only one that you can
talk about being the greatest of all time, but that list, when those quarterbacks were in the NFL, were at the top of the rankings in the NFL at quarterback. They were at the top of their position. So, you could say go. How many goats are there?
Is Jim Kelly a top 20 quarterback of all time?
Jim Kelly during his time in the NFL, because he's not competing against everybody in all time. He's competing against the quarterbacks during his time, because that's all that matters at that point. Jim Kelly, when he played, was one of the best quarterbacks on the football field in the NFL. Dan Fouts,
but we're talking about the question is to be considered one of the greatest of all time. He's a Hall of Fame quarterback. He's a good quarterback, but he's not one of the
100%.
greatest of all time. He's not. Dan
So
Fouts,
does
good
winning
quarterback,
a
Hall of
does
Fame
winning a
quarterback. He's
quarterback
not
make
considered one of
you
the greatest of all
does
time.
does winning a quarterback put you in the conversation of winning or being talked about the greatest of all time?
If Jim Kelly wins 2 of those 4 Super Bowls, the conversation about Jim Kelly is completely different.
I mean, we're going to say this. I mean, I'm going to ask this again. Does winning a Super Bowl put you in the conversation to being a GOAT?
You got to have the winning plus the
You're not
performance to
answering
back
my
it up.
question. You're not answering my question.
Trent Dilfer's not in that conversation because he didn't do it for years.
Hey, I'm glad you brought it up.
Aaron Rodgers is in that
conversation.
Aaron Rodgers is in that conversation because Aaron Rodgers has the career to back it up. So you're going back to the argument that we used to do with Guy and them, blah blah blah. Well, you can't say Trent Dilfer. Well, no, we're not saying Trent Dilfer.
You can say Nick Foles too.
We're talking about the greatest quarterbacks of all time. You have to have the performances during the season.
That wasn't the question.
Yes, it is. Do you have to win a quarterback?
Do you have to win? Do you have to win?
Do you consider Trent Dilfer one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, John?
Never do. Never have.
Then he's not part of this conversation.
But you're contradicting yourself by saying that you have to, because that takes Marino out.
You're not listening to what I'm saying.
100%.
Marino's a great quarterback, one of the best to play the game. Is he top 5? No. I wouldn't even put him top 10, because if you are the best, I'm sorry, in a one-game situation, if you are the best, if you are that dog, it's hard for me to put you in that conversation if you can't get it done. It's the whole reason why I think that the scenario around Josh Allen needs to change. And Cam Jordan said it best today when they talked about Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, and Josh Allen. He said Josh Allen is what a lot of us thought he was, a guy that can't win the big game.
So
coming from one who, I mean, he only won because of Breeze, but
here's an interesting little thing, and this is called Qbert. Okay, it's a Qbert rating this guy put together, and he did basically the primary factors: passing and rushing touchdowns, completions, interceptions, fumbles, passing yards before the catch, net quarterback rushing yards, and passing and rushing first downs. There's secondary factors like quarterback rushing attempts, pass pressure. Quarterback gets more Qbert credit for facing a lot of pass pressure. He just did a bunch of different things here to kind of break down who he thinks the greatest, give a tally of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Okay. And I'm just going to show you this list here, and we're going to see kind of what this advanced metric kind of shows. The top 100 best quarterbacks by Qbert War. You have Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers. Dan Marino's number 6. Joe Montana, Fran Tarkington, number 8. Steve Young, Ben Roethlisberger, John Elway, Matt Ryan, number 12. Phillip Rivers, 13. Dan Fouts, 14. Russell Wilson, 15. Patrick Mahomes, 16. Ken Anderson, 17. Johnny Unitas, 18. Matthew Stafford, 19. And Steve McNair, 20. Now, I don't know when this was created. This was September 2025.
He's explained something about Mahomes right there before you scroll down. He's had something about reason why it specifically said his name. I was trying to read it because you got Elway right there.
Head off this question. The reason why Mahomes isn't rated higher is simple. He's in the middle of his career, and he's on track to be among the best ever once he's finished. Still, modern day quarterbacks do have some advantages in war. There are more regular season games now, more playoff games. Quarterbacks account for a higher share of offense than they once did. So, obviously, he needs to play more games to get this rating.
More game, yeah, play out his career, yes.
But this is interesting because now Dan Marino's number 6. Who else? Fran Tarkington, number 8.
Mm-hmm.
Fran and Fouts.
But it also shows you could pick apart this whichever direction you want to argue, because on Mosby's side, he's sitting there going, okay, well, yeah, I see that. But the top 10, 8 of them won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, there's no one else on this list that I would put in the top 10 to consider the greatest quarterback. I wouldn't even put Josh Allen on this list yet. He ain't won nothing. So my whole point is you got to have the stats. You got to have the career to back it off. Yeah, you never heard me say Trent Dilfer or Doug Williams are the best quarterbacks of all time. Phil Simms. Yeah, they won Super Bowls, but what did they do in the rest of their career? They did not have a luxurious, great career. Tom Brady, great. Peyton Manning, great. Drew Brees, great. Brett Favre, great. Aaron Rodgers, great. Yeah, Dan Marino's great. But you know what? If it come down to rankings, he didn't ever get it done. Joe Montana, yes. Fran Tarkenton, Steve Young. I'm a big thing of Steve Young's one of the greatest, one of the most talented quarterbacks to play the game. And, you know, he only got one
Look
of
at
them
this.
done.
Look at this. 5,675 plays is all he had compared, and he's in the top 10. That's how good he was, guys.
Yes, Steve Young, yes. If
he was also on the stack team on all sides of the ball. And I mean, obviously back then was different, but that's what I'm saying. I mean, you could be a quarterback, you could be an absolute top stud on a dog crap team, and you'll never win anything. It starts at the front office. I don't care.
if you're a stud, you're going to turn that dog crap team around.
You don't play defense. So, I mean, that comment that you just made is absolutely stupid.
Ben, go look up the rankings for the Chiefs' first Super Bowl. Go look up the rankings for the Chiefs' first Super Bowl for their defense. It is bottom half of the league.
Peyton Manning won it with the 32nd ranked defense in the NFL.
Peyton Manning won it with the Colts when they actually had a great defense.
32nd ranked defense is when they won.
Bob Sanders won Defensive Player of the Year that year. The Chiefs' defense, when they won it, I think was ranked 27th in the NFL.
Man.
So the defense thing, I'm sorry, it don't fly with me. Okay, so here we go. 2019, Chiefs won the Super Bowl, the 49ers. Let's go look at their team rankings. Their defense is ranked number 17, bottom half of the league.
Yeah,
2000, I think 2007 Colts. I think that's when they won it.
Oh, Poker Pro joined. Coach Sauer is on here. Welcome, Coach Sauer. Coach Sauer, do you think as a quarterback you have to win the Super Bowl to be considered one of the greats? What's your opinion on that? He's a big Steelers guy. All right. So I guess our answer here is John doesn't believe that you need to win Super Bowl, and Mosby does believe you need to win at least one, correct?
At least one. I don't think you have to win 7 to be considered. I think you need to at least win 1, but you have to have the career to back it up. It can't be a situation like Nick Foles or Trent Dilfer, blah, blah. Those are anomalies. But if you're going to be considered the best, one of the best to ever play the game, maybe if you want to be in a conversation to be the best ever, it's hard for me to think that if I was going to argue for Patrick Mahomes to be the best quarterback of all time, how am I going to argue that if he never won his championship? I couldn't argue that against Peyton Manning. I couldn't argue that against Tom Brady. I couldn't even argue that against Aaron Rodgers, who only has 1. They have the numbers and the career to back it up. If Mahomes puts up great numbers, what was the storyline? Well, you got to get it over the top. You got to at least get 1. At least get your team there. I mean,
I'm going to kind of my opinion on it is definitely a team sport, but I also have to keep in consideration of what the media believes, because my opinion means nothing in whenever you bring it to the media, and the media absolutely sides on the side of they need to win a Super Bowl. So I do think just so that the perspective of the quarterback is great, they probably need to go ahead and win that Super Bowl so that they're considered that, because I know if they don't, it doesn't matter how many yards they throw for, the media will never give their props because they just love championships. Even when it's a team
half
sport.
the guys in the
their peers,
they're in the media who never ever played the game. They don't know anything about the game other than what they see and what they read.
John, I'm going off their peers. You talk to a lot of these players, and they'll tell you, like, "Hey, who's the best?" Well, they ain't going to consider that guy. He didn't get the job done.
So there you go.